We stand in a country that once taught the world the meaning of democracy. Yet within living memory, it stood accused of betraying its own future. In the early 2010s, Greece lost nearly a quarter of its economic output, more than many nations lose in wartime, without a single bomb falling. What failed here was not only an economy, but something quieter and more fragile: trust. Trust between citizens and institutions. Trust between generations. Trust in the idea that rules mattered, that sacrifices were shared, that the future would be fairer than the past. And yet, as we walk through Athens today, past cafes full again, protests quieter now, and a nation still arguing with itself, we realize this story is not just about debt or austerity. It is about national strength, legitimacy, and the moral choices societies make when the old certainties collapse. We arrive in Greece carrying a double image. One is ancient, marble columns, philosophy, democracy's first experiments, and the idea that citizens could govern themselves. The other is painfully modern: bailouts, unemployment lines, angry street protests, and headlines that reduced a complex society to stereotypes of irresponsibility. But Greece is not a cautionary tale frozen in a single decade. It is a living civilization shaped by conquest, survival, reinvention, and memory. To understand why Greece struggled through crisis and what it taught the world, we have to move slowly. We have to listen to its history, its institutions, and its people. We will explore how foundational myths created pride, but also pressure. How historical turning points, from empire to occupation to democracy, shaped political psychology. How social and political structures blurred the line between solidarity and favoritism. And how a global financial system collided with a deeply human society built on relationships, dignity, and collective memory. This is not just a story of economic failure. It is a story of legitimacy, institutional integrity, societal cohesion, and whether a nation can rise from crisis without losing its soul. To understand modern Greece, we must first understand how often it learned to survive without a state that truly served it. For centuries, Greece lived under foreign rule: Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman. Power came from outside. Taxes were extracted, not reinvested. Institutions existed to control, not to protect. In villages and neighborhoods, survival depended on family, church, and informal networks. Trust was personal, not institutional. Rules were negotiated, not assumed to be fair. When Greece finally emerged as a modern nation-state in the 19th century, it inherited a paradox. It had the symbols of sovereignty, but not the deeply rooted habits of institutional legitimacy. The state felt distant. Citizens often viewed it as something to work around rather than work with. This historical insight matters because political psychology does not reset with independence. Social memory lingers. A collective mindset formed around resilience, improvisation, and mutual aid, but also skepticism toward authority. This was not moral failure. It was adaptive behavior shaped by centuries of uncertainty. But it quietly planted a fault line. When institutions are weakly trusted, informal systems grow strong and eventually distort national governance. Modern Greek democracy arrived not as a slow evolution, but as a hard-won prize after dictatorship. When authoritarian rule fell in the 1970s, democracy carried enormous emotional weight. The state became more than an administrator. It became a symbol of dignity restored. Political parties promised inclusion, jobs, pensions, protection. In a society where loyalty had long been personal, politics followed familiar patterns. Supporters were rewarded. Networks mattered. Public employment became a form of social insurance. For many families, this was not corruption,
It was survival with human face. A job in the public sector meant stability in a volatile world. A pension meant caring for grandparents and grandchildren alike. But here, a subtle moral dilemma emerged. The system expanded faster than the economy could sustain. Borrowing filled the gap. Debt became invisible, abstract, deferred to the future. Institutional integrity weakened not through malice, but through collective avoidance. Everyone benefited in the short term. No one wanted to ask who would eventually pay. This was the hidden psychology of the crisis, a society trying to heal past wounds while unknowingly creating new ones. Joining the European Union and later the Eurozone felt like a return home. Greece was no longer on the periphery of history. It was inside the core of global leadership. The euro brought low interest rates and easy credit. Consumption rose. Living standards improved. Athens felt closer to Paris and Berlin than ever before. But monetary union hid structural differences. Germany exported machines. Greece exported tourism, shipping, and services tied to seasonal cycles. Without control over its currency, Greece lost a key tool of crisis recovery. Yet this vulnerability was easy to ignore during good years. Here lies a counterintuitive insight. The crisis was not caused by irresponsibility alone, but by asymmetry between economies sharing one currency but not one political union. Ordinary people sensed pride and anxiety at once. They felt European, but they also felt exposed. The euro became both a symbol of belonging and a trapdoor beneath national sovereignty. When the global financial crisis hit in 2008, Greece's hidden weaknesses became undeniable. Debt figures revised upward, markets panicked, credit vanished. Suddenly, abstract numbers turned into lived trauma. Pensions were cut, salaries shrank, unemployment soared, especially among the young. We walk past closed shops whose signs still hang like ghosts of optimism. We meet families where grandparents support entire households on reduced pensions. Austerity was framed as necessity, but it felt like punishment. Here, legitimacy collapsed. Citizens asked, why are we paying for mistakes we didn't make? Why are the sacrifices not shared equally? Institutional integrity eroded further as reforms arrived faster than trust could rebuild. Protests filled the streets. Populism surged, not because people rejected responsibility, but because they rejected humiliation. This was political psychology in its rawest form. When dignity is threatened, identity hardens, compromise becomes betrayal. Greece became a mirror reflecting the moral limits of technocratic solutions. Yet crisis does not only destroy, it also reveals.
As the state retreated, grassroots movements stepped forward. Community kitchens fed strangers. Doctors volunteered in clinics for the uninsured. Neighbors shared electricity, food, and childcare. These were not ideological revolutions. They were acts of social memory reactivated, old habits of mutual aid resurfacing under pressure. This was societal cohesion not imposed from above, but grown from below. At the same time, a generation came of age shaped by disappointment. Young Greeks became more outward-looking, more skeptical, more mobile. Many left. Those who stayed demanded transparency, fairness, and real reform, not slogans. A surprising shift occurred. The crisis forced conversations that had long been postponed, about taxes, about merit, about what the state should be and what it should stop pretending to be. Resilience here was not loud, it was quiet, painful, and unfinished. Recovery did not arrive as a triumphant moment. It arrived unevenly, quietly, almost reluctantly. Budgets stabilized, tourism returned, institutions became more disciplined, but trust is slower than numbers.
Many citizens still feel the social contract was rewritten without their consent. Others acknowledge that old habits were unsustainable. This tension defines modern Greece, a nation wiser but more cautious, less romantic about Europe, yet unwilling to abandon it. Institutional integrity has improved, but legitimacy remains conditional. People watch closely now. They ask harder questions. This may be Greece's most important lesson. True national strength is not built on denial or pride alone. It is built on accountability that respects human dignity. Crisis recovery is not just economic, it is psychological. Greece's struggle was never only Greek. It revealed how global systems test national identity, how moral choices made in boardrooms echo through kitchens and classrooms. It showed that resilience is not stoic endurance, it is the capacity to adapt without forgetting who we are. That legitimacy cannot be demanded, it must be earned repeatedly. That institutional integrity depends as much on trust as on rules. Greece rose from crisis not by becoming someone else, but by confronting its contradictions. Its collective mindset shifted from entitlement toward responsibility, but only after immense pain. For the world, Greece offers a warning and a hope. A warning that ignoring social psychology can fracture societies, and a hope that even after trust breaks, it can be rebuilt, slowly, imperfectly, but honestly. As we leave Greece, we carry a quiet question with us. When the next crisis comes, wherever we live, will we choose efficiency over dignity, or will we find a way to honor both?